When a newbie manages to quickly find success on Etsy, it's usually because they see something that the rest of us can't see. Whether they find a gap in the market or a smart strategy, let's take a look at how these 5 digital product Etsy stores all managed to make $20,000 a month or more as Etsy beginners.
If I told you that 1 year from now you could be $200,000 richer, would you believe me? I'm going to show you how this digital Etsy store did exactly that with only 27 listings.
Hey, hello. Thanks for coming back to watch another fun video. If you guessed from my intro that this would be another spreadsheet store, then surprise, you are right. It seems like there is a ton of spreadsheet stores that are popping up with just a handful of listings and dominating six-figure sales, which is great news because that means there's plenty of demand for more. So this video is going to be a little bit of a 2-for-1. First, I'm going to wow you with this impressive store's sales stats. And then I'm going to dive into some seriously valuable tips on how to make spreadsheets with the features that are really selling so that you can jump into this Etsy niche and actually get ahead of competitors and set yourself apart. So, this store is called the Weekly Crew, and they are super impressive. They only have 27 listings, and I love their main images. You can see a very clear theme in their main images. I love it. Let's talk about their store stats because you guys are not going to believe what the store has accomplished so far. So, this store has almost 31,000 sales. And I want to point out that this store is getting sales hand over foot. Every time I have checked the store from the first time I set this on my list to take a peek at and to build an outline to when I actually outlined for this video, and now I'm filming this video, their sales just keep growing faster and faster and faster, like a snowball, which is hilarious because they sell a debt snowball spreadsheet and their store is literally snowballing with sales. So kudos to them. I gave them an average product price of about $8. Now, that is because their sales prices vary. And they do have some lower things like their debt tracker that I just mentioned is $4. They have a budget for $5, but some of their bigger sellers are in the 20 price range. This is hovering at 19. They have a biweekly paycheck budget that is also a bestseller. It's 20, almost $22. So I gave them an average price of $8 just to be conservative, just to be fair. And if we go down to their feedback and look at the very oldest feedback, the very first one here, their first feedback came on June 23rd of 2022. This store is 1 year old. This is a newbie, guys. This is so cool because keeping an account that they have almost 31,000 sales in 1 year's time span, that puts their approximate annual sales at $246,000. In 1 year, this store has made $246,000. And keep in mind, that is assuming they've only bought one product. Each of those 31,000 sales has only included one product at $8. So probably they're really raking in the dough here. And this is really impressive and inspiring. And I really wanted to point that out because even though spreadsheets can feel like a really saturated niche, it is a very high demand niche, which means that there is room here for more sellers to come in and create amazing spreadsheets and dominate and just really build up powerful levels of sales. Now, something that I wanted to point out about this store that is working for them really well in particular, aside from the fact that their images are on point and their features are on point, they have some pretty clever products. So this one in specific is a monthly 50/30/20 budget. And not only does it have a customized ratio here, but looking at their images, you can see that you can even create your own allocation. So it automatically allocates 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt, which is great. That's what a lot of debt masters or financial gurus will tell us our budget is supposed to be at. But if you don't like it that way, you can customize it. You can create a ratio that fits your lifestyle and your particular needs. You can just suit this towards your lifestyle. I love that. All of these images are crisp, clear, the information is easy to read and understand. They have this smart calendar here. So they have really created a product that sees a need and sees what people struggle with budgeting their money and tries to solve that problem. So that is really, really cool. This 50/30/20 monthly budget is a unique product in the spreadsheet space. For example, if we go directly to Etsy, and I'm going to try and keep this super short here, but let's type in monthly budget, you're going to see that not a lot of them, of course, you're going to see this because I've already looked at this store, but you're going to see that not a lot of them really highlight a 50/30/20 or any type of ratio. You're not seeing that pop up on any of these other sellers. So that is a unique feature that is really paying off for this seller. Actually, here's another one. We went this far down before we found one more that's doing the 50/30/20. So obviously this is super cool. And this seller is actually 𝑬𝒐𝒏. 𝑬𝒐𝒏. They have another one here with a slightly different color scheme, 𝑬𝒐𝒏. So very, very cool. And that can be powerful when you find a feature like that and highlight that feature. That can really be powerful to set yourself apart. I want to talk about not just what sets this seller apart, but some of the big features that people look for when they're buying spreadsheets in general, and how you can implement those features to make sure that your spreadsheets are dominating this niche. But before I forget, I haven't talked a whole lot about my awesome new freebie in my videos so far, so I do want to take a quick second and tell you guys about it. I have built a 5-day email series. So each day you get an email with actionable tips to grow and improve your Etsy store. So there's a link down below for that. And I'm currently working on one that is geared specifically towards brand new sellers or sellers just looking to get into Etsy. This one is more for everybody. So it tries to cover a lot of the biggest, most important things that I see people struggle with their Etsy store and tackle some of those things to really get you ahead and get those sales in there. So definitely go sign up for that. It is down in the video description below. So now that we've kind of looked at this specific store and what's working so well, we're going to jump into some of those tips that I keep mentioning before. And as we go through those tips, we're going to see some other sellers that pop up. So I want you guys to really pay attention to the features that you see over and over and the elements in their images that pop out to you that look good. Take some notes, grab your pen and paper, grab some coffee. This is action packed with information, and you want to definitely save this video to come back to it later, but make notes of everything that you see that's important. So, the first tip that I want to talk about with selling spreadsheets is if I search just literally just search for spreadsheet, what pops up and what really is getting the sales, the clicks, the what's actually doing really well. You want to look at similar products to yours, right? So if you're doing a bookkeeping or a paycheck by budget, a budget of some sort, or whatever it is that you're thinking of doing, there's meal planning, there's inventory tracking, debt spreadsheets, rental property habit tracking is popular, wedding planner, literally everything can be a spreadsheet. You want to find spreadsheets that are similar to yours, and you want to see what those sellers are doing. What are they offering? What does their stuff look like? What features does their spreadsheet have that seem to be really popular? And you always want your spreadsheet to be different and to offer different things. But if you're looking at 5 competitors and 4 out of the 5 have one specific feature, you probably want to include that specific feature somehow as well. So this seller actually only has 12 listings, and I'm not going to go on and on about this because they do have their own video, which is super helpful. But I'm going to open up one of their listings and I'm going to show you some really powerful features that this seller offers that can do a really strong job of leveling up your own spreadsheet. So we're going to see what this particular seller is doing because we know this seller is just killing it on sales. And there's a strong reason why that is. One of the great things that this seller offers, and they have updated their images, and honestly, I think I liked their original images better. I'm not sure. I'm fairly confident that they took out some images that they probably should have left in because they did have an image that was specifically about changing the currency to include dollar, euro, yen, and pound templates. And then they had an image to talk about how they customize colors. So this template can just be changed in the colors. And I wanted to show you guys how those features work. So to do that, I'm going to go to my Ultimate Success Workbook and just use this as an example because I do have charts and things already in here. And this is my copy, so it's not going to mess anything up if I change colors. Nobody's going to be like, hey, what's going on? So I wanted to show you guys how to set this up so that you can start your spreadsheet with whatever colors you want, and a customer, a buyer, can just change the colors very, very quickly. So what we will do when we're making a spreadsheet is we will often just pick a color here, or we will even go into the custom colors and just pick a color, right? We'll just find our own color or type in the HTML code and change things how we want. What you're actually going to want to do instead of doing all of that, you're going to want to go here to format and you're going to want to do theme. And I'm doing everything in Google Sheets. I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm going to show you everything in Google Sheets because it's free and accessible and you don't have to buy any sort of Microsoft products to make this work. But you can do most of these features also in Excel, and there are great tutorials on YouTube if you can't figure out how to do anything. Anything you might want to learn that you don't know how to do, you just go straight to YouTube and you look it up, and it'll probably have a handful of tutorials to choose from. So go to themes and then click customize. Now here you can customize everything you want. So you can choose your font that you want to match your theme, and then you can choose your colors. So you can add custom colors down here, and they can be any colors you want. So you can see I've got all of my Insights by Jess colors in here. I've got some purple because I love purple, but all of your main colors can be added down here to custom, and you can set the colors for everything you want. So if you want your standard font color to be a dark gray, if you want your chart background, you're probably going to want that to be white because you don't want it to look like this. But then you can choose the color of your slices. So I'm going to choose all my favorite colors, all my Insights by Jess colors here. And what we do is when we're done, we click done, and that becomes our custom theme. So when you're making charts, you go to customize here, and you can actually change the pie slices. You'll see your theme pop up here. You can see all the colors that I've chosen. So I'm just going to choose this one for that. I'm just choosing similar colors because I want these colors here to be attached to a theme. You want everything that you do to be in your specific theme. So for example, in your fonts, you're going to choose from your theme. For your highlighting, you're going to choose from your theme. And I didn't add a whole bunch of colors because I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible here, but I just want to show you guys how this works and what happens so that when they click all of these colors will change to match the theme that they choose. So it takes about 5 extra minutes for you to set this up at the beginning, because you do have to go in here and you have to customize all of these things. But you can choose whatever colors you want here and make it match your theme without it really affecting anybody else. And then you have that extra feature here that they say you can customize the colors. That is a great feature. And if I was selling spreadsheets, I would have an image that shows that these colors change. Now, here's the other feature that this particular seller has. They let you change the currency. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do that. This particular spreadsheet that I made for you guys for our Etsy Seller Success Workbook, as you can see, there is no currency on here, and I did that because I wanted it to be universal. That's one way to handle that. But if I was selling this in an Etsy store, probably people would want to see a currency. So you can just assign it a currency like this. Now, there's two ways you can handle being able to change the currency. You could make an easy how-to image that shows your buyers that to change the currency, all they have to do is go to Format, Number, and then they can choose. Do they want euro? Do they want the yen? Do they want the pound? Etc. Or you can simply go in here and make a copy of your spreadsheet and change it yourself, and then just put the files to the different spreadsheets in your downloadable file. And we're going to actually talk about that in a minute. So we know how to change the spreadsheet colors. We know how to do the spreadsheet currencies. Let me go ahead and give you guys my biggest, most important tip for spreadsheets. And this is so simple. The number one question I get asked when people go and buy this from Buy Me a Coffee is they will request to edit this. So for example, let me see if I can open this in a new window here. Okay, so if I was to open this in a new tab where I'm not signed in as myself, it's going to say you need access, and it's going to let me type a message to the seller and request access. It is super, super, super frustrating when this happens, because if I give them access, they can edit everything, and they're editing the original template, which affects everyone else who purchases this file. That's a bad thing. So never, ever, ever grant somebody access to the template. What you do instead is you make an image and you put it in the PDF that you're going to give them when they buy this, and you put it in your FAQ, and you're going to need to have it in multiple places. You put an image that tells them that if they want to edit the workbook or edit the spreadsheet, they have to go to File, Make a Copy. Take a little clip of this particular screen that says File, Make a Copy here, and put it in an image so that they know exactly how to access that template. And then if they request to edit the main template, you just ignore the request. They will go back to their how-to, they will go back to the PDF that they got when they bought the product, and they will see where you tell them 4 times to make a copy, and they will figure it out. So never, ever, 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 ever grant anybody access to the template. That is going to let them change the master copy. Let's take that back one quick step here. In order to allow someone to buy this and to even access the master template, first you have to share it. So you're going to go to Share, and you're going to see all the people that are allowed to access this already, which I have blanked out because my kids are in here and I don't want you to see their personal emails. But here where it says general access, you can have it restricted, which means only people with the link can open this, or you can have it say anyone with the link. So this is how you want to set your Google Sheets up. You want it to say anyone with the link can view, just like this. Do not say comment or edit, only give them the role of viewer. And then you can copy that link. What you're going to do next is you're going to take this link and you're going to actually make a PDF file. So just for time's sake, I'm going to show you guys the PDF that I made for whenever someone buys my Seller Success Workbook. So what I did is I just added my logo as an image header here, and I typed directly over it how to use and you would put your product name here. The first thing I do is say, thank you so much for purchasing. Here's all of the information you need. And then I say to access the template, click here, and I add the link here. And you can type in the link, it will update it for you into this pretty little wording. If you do this, if you create this PDF in Google Docs, and I love Google Docs because it's simple and all my stuff is just right in Google, so I use it to store my files and all that good stuff. You can use Canva to make a PDF, you can use Microsoft Word, whatever you want to make the PDF, you can use your own preferred platform. And then you'll see, but wait, do this before you do anything. And then I talk about how they have to do the whole file, make a copy process. So very, very simple, very, very straightforward. Once you create this, you just go to File, Download as PDF. It's going to download it. And when your customer opens the PDF, this is what they see. And they can just click this and access their own copy of the workbook. Super, super simple. Now, when you create your Etsy listing in your Etsy store for your spreadsheet that you're selling, you're going to actually upload this PDF as the digital download product in your Etsy listing. You don't need to actually figure out how to attach the spreadsheet to the listing. You just make one of these PDFs and you attach the PDF to the listing instead. It's easy, it's simple, it gives them all the information that they're going to need, and it's just one file. And you can do that with any digital download. If you guys have downloaded any of my freebies, and I'm sure you have, you've seen that I do the same thing with a lot of my freebies that are like I have a download all your freebies in one click thing. It's literally a PDF that has links to all my other freebies so that you don't have to go through the process of signing up for every single freebie individually. So this can be used for almost any kind of digital download. You just put the links in here. And that actually saves you the trouble of dealing with file size limitations and things like that because you're just dealing with links inside of a simple PDF. So I'm going to actually pick a specific type of product here, and I'm going to type in meal plan spreadsheet. And we're going to scroll right past these ads here. And we're going to see some that are selling better than others. I actually did a video on Creative Jam. And then this one here, Tulip Road Studio, this might be a good choice. This might be a good choice. And as you can see by the numbers here, there are a lot of very, very new spreadsheet sellers. Okay, because spreadsheets are becoming super, super, super popular. So you really do need to do some due diligence on researching and making your spreadsheet stand out. We're going to get a little bit more into that in just a second. So if I'm going to make a meal planner, I would be checking these different sellers and I would be seeing if these are popular products. Is it worth my time and energy to sell a meal planner? I would be going through that whole process that I show you guys how to go through in my How to Find Bestsellers video and all of that. If we go to this one's a little bit more colorful. This one's able to be used in both Excel and Google Sheets. So they've actually created this twice, once in each platform, and it's selling for $11 and it's a bestseller. So this is actually really popular. So I'm going to be looking at this one a lot more closely than any of the other ones I've seen so far because I know this one is selling really well. They let you select Monday or Sunday for the week start. You can choose recipes or single ingredients, log your foods, and the ingredient and grocery lists update automatically. So they also have a wonderful image that tells you what all the different tabs are. So I would probably want to look at what all of these people are doing before I set up my own spreadsheet meal planner because I don't want to miss any cool features. Okay, so let's look at a couple of monthly budget spreadsheets. I feel like that's pretty specific. And let's look at this one. This one looks like a new one. And this is a bestseller. Let's open that one up. So you're just going to basically look at all of these different things and you're going to see what do they have in common. This one tells you that you can customize the colors. So that's great. They have chosen all very, very girly colors here. So that's kind of funny. And then here it says all currencies are supported. So great job. So very much like the other example with the color and the currencies. And you can see they have a similar image like this. Co-Products also has that almost exactly the same image here. So you can see that they really, where did it go? They really used co-products as an example. So very well done. They've already got bestseller on this fantastic product. You're going to just keep doing that. And I'm not going to go through all of these because this is already getting long and it is getting pretty intensive. But let's go back to the search page because the next thing that I really wanted to talk about with selling spreadsheets is the main images. Okay, these main images will make or break your sales because you are going to have people searching, just like I did, monthly budget spreadsheet or whatever type of spreadsheet it is that you're selling. When they search that, they're going to land on a search page like this. And it might actually even be on their phone because a lot of Etsy searches are done on mobile. A lot of Etsy's purchases are made on mobile devices. So, what you want to do is pay attention to what all of these images look like, which ones look the best, which ones look the cleanest, which ones focus on the product the best and gives you information the best. And you're going to give more weight to the ones that are bestsellers and what their main images look like versus the non-bestsellers, because if they're not a bestseller, it's not selling as well as all of these other listings and what their monthly budgets or what their specific spreadsheets actually look like. So these are the best main images to look at. What I always try to do anytime I make a main image or an image in general for any type of Etsy listing is I will make my screen small and I will look at it, not that small, too much, and I will look at it in a small format, the way I would be seeing it if I was on a small device like a phone. And when you make it small like this, you can see that some of these texts are still really easy to read. And some of them, like this one here, the text gets a little blurry. So you might want to choose a thicker font and a simpler presentation. So this is going to really help you gauge what you want your image to look like and if it looks good on those smaller devices. For example, you can't even read what this one says here because it's so small that all these words just blur together. And if I make it bigger, even when I make it bigger, it is still hard to read. So I think they could probably improve this image, and you can tell it's a brand new seller. They could improve this image to make the monthly budget spreadsheet part easier to read, even if they've just put a white box on the top or whatever, a green box on the top with white wording, something that makes it stand out and is clear and easy to read. Because what we see on our Etsy screens when we're making the image, we see the images bigger than they tend to be on the search results page. So I really wanted to point that out as well because your main images are going to be what attract buyers and what gets them to click on your product. And your other images do matter as well, of course, but the main image is the very most important.
Get ready because today's video is a mind bender. I'm going to show you how the right product with one simple strategy can really hit it big.
Hello, and thanks for coming back to my channel. This video is so cool. This genius seller has really hit it big with one specific item that is literally 1 month old. And on that one item, she's made almost $20,000 with one super simple but obviously genius strategy. So this is not going to be a typical store review video because frankly, I would just be wasting your time. I'm going to focus directly in on what this seller did to really explode her sales in a major way and how you can use that same strategy to do the same thing. So let's take a quick peek at her store really briefly here. This is called Solid Rock Design Co. And it is mostly wall art, graphic art that is customized and personal to the buyer. So, very cool. But more specifically, I want to show you the listing that started it all. It is a little more than 1 month old and it is already an Etsy pick, which is insane, you guys. Super insane. Absolutely mind blowing. It is actually selling for about $15.25, and that's a sale price. And if we go down to her feedback and we look at the oldest feedback for this listing here, 63 pages of feedback. Her first feedback is April 26th of 2023. So it has literally been a month and she's got an Etsy pick. That is super crazy. So I really want to talk about her Etsy sales stats and show you guys what really sets this product apart. So first, let's take a peek at these images so you can get an idea of what it is that she's selling. This is a personalized flower bouquet graphic art. It is not a physical product, it's a digital download. And you can personalize the names, the title that you have, whether it's like Nana's Garden or Mom's Garden, etc., the months you want on them, etc. There's a lot of different options here. Going through her photos, you can see various different examples. She has all the different months here featured. And essentially, what this is you tell her the names you want on the bottom and what the birth month of each of the names is, each of the people on it. And then she puts these flowers together from here together into a bouquet like this. So it's relatively personalized. And each one is going to be different depending on the birth months of the particular people involved. Her images are really well done. She's got a great selection of examples on different mediums here, different types of frames, different names, and then a quick and easy how to order guide. And then she tells you material options. So she offers this digitally, but if you wanted to upgrade this, you could even get a physical product. So I do want to point out that the smallest one here, which is a digital 5x7 size, is $15. If you want it to be larger, like an 8x10, we're talking $30. If you want it to be a poster size, like 16x20, it jumps up to $42. And of course, if you want it framed or printed, it's going to be significantly more expensive according to the options that you choose. So this is really a hybrid type of product. But for income purposes, when I give you her stats, we are going to assume that every single customer that she has purchased the digital 5x7 cheapest option available. So you're going to get the worst case scenario of what she has made on this product because it is absolutely mind blowing. Okay, so I've already told you that it's selling for $15.25 for the cheapest version. I've already told you she has 250 reviews starting back in April 26th of this year. We're going to jump over to my handy dandy notebook here, my Etsy Seller Success Notebook, and jump to the competitor research page. Now, I actually already wrote this particular listing stats down just to save time and make this video a little bit shorter. If we take a look at the item price of $15.25 with the number of reviews she has on the product and on her shop total altogether, plus 7,800 sales in her total shop, that gives this particular listing, this one single listing, $22,000 a month for earnings. And if she maintains these sales for the rest of the year with zero growth, if It doesn't grow at all. She would make $265,000 on just this one listing in 1 year's time. Super crazy. And to get that kind of success, you really do need to have a good design idea, a good product idea, right? Your product needs to be something people are going to want to actually buy. So that brings me to my freebies. I have the perfect freebie for if you are looking for your own winning product, which helps you look on Etsy and see what's selling well and find your own epic and amazing Etsy bestseller based on what you're interested in and all that good stuff. So click the link down below. Make sure you download that. It is totally free for you to use. And by the way, while you're grabbing that freebie, please feel free to buy me a coffee because these YouTube ads really don't pay very much money, only like a few bucks here and there. So I could really use your support to keep this channel growing. Once you've downloaded that, jump back here to this video because I want to explain to you the one amazing strategy she is using to magnify the success of her store using this one amazing listing. We're going to jump to her main store page here. And I want you to look at her storefront here as I scroll down super crazy fast. She has a pretty good variety of different things that are theoretically all probably bringing in sales, right? I have this sorted to most recent. So all of these things have either sold or renewed most recently. But if I type in the birth flower, you're going to notice something crazy. She has a lot of different listings, and they are all basically this same product, right? So she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 different listings. Some of them have the bouquet all together, and some of them actually have the flowers spread out like this 19 times. So I don't necessarily know that you need to duplicate a listing 19 times, but she is getting a lot of great results out of this. If you pay close attention, you can see that all of these different listings here have a slightly different main image. They're all just a little bit different from one another. As I scroll down here, you can see that some of them have different frames, some of them have different fonts. For example, this has more of a cursive font and this has more of a printed font. There's something different about how these are put together or the flowers that are put in them so that she really can capture your attention depending on which one of these images you're going to resonate with the most. Now, what's cool about doing this is that some of these are going to be more popular than others. Some of these are going to get more attention or be more appealing in general. And some of these are just going to target different types of customers who are attracted to the different images or the different frames, even. Or, for example, this canvas version right here. She's essentially magnifying her visibility very dramatically with this strategy of duplicating the listings. Now, here's the cool part. She has managed to secure that Etsy's pick. This is her actual original first listing. And believe me, I spent a lot of time digging through all of these to try to figure this out. But she also has multiple bestsellers here as well. So I did not look at all 19 listings in terms of what her sales might have looked like, but I did take a look at all of her top 7, so her Etsy's pick, and 6 bestsellers, which is pretty impressive. And I actually filled out my little um, competitor's cheat sheet here to see what kind of money she's been bringing in on this one product overall just for these top 7 listings. Because they all have a different number of reviews, they all bring in different sales depending on how popular they are. And that's where you really start to see how some of these designs attract more people than others in general. However, If we take a look at the oldest feedback for each item, we can see her first bestseller, which is technically the Etsy's pick, came April 26th of 2023. And then at the beginning of May, she started duplicating these listings. We see one start to pop up on the 4th of May, the 5th of May, the 7th of May. Two of them come up on the 8th of May, and one comes up on the 19th of May. Now, whether she duplicated all of these listings at once and they just started selling at different times, or she duplicated them, saw great results, and then made even more, I could not really tell you that much. But the cool thing is that amongst all of these different 7 listings, 7 out of the 19, by the way, out of these 7, she has made about 24, a little over $24,000 so far in the last month. I do want to point out that all of these are less than a month old. So she's taken this one winning idea and turned it into a $25,000 a month generator. That is really, really cool. Now, there are other perks to duplicating your designs like this and creating them with different images. And I do want to point those out as well. If we take a look at the Etsy's pick, take a peek at this title. So it says Birth Flower Bouquet, Personalized Gift, Custom Printable Gift, and it goes on from there. Let's look at this one. This one actually says Birth Month Flower Print, Personalized Garden Print, Family Birth Flower, and then it goes on from there. So it's different. If we click on this one, it's a little bit different. And you can see that she's kind of changed things up. Some of these will have similar titles as others, and some of them she's changed things up a little bit. So this one, for example, has no commas or anything like that. This one has commas separating the terms, and there is no space here, just a comma. So it looks like she was really trying to cram these in. There's commas between the first couple, and then she just straight took those commas out as she ran out of space to get those keywords in there. So she's utilizing a little bit of a variable keyword strategy here. So she's changing on these listings here, not just the main images, but minor alterations to the title as well. You can also, when you utilize a strategy like this, use different tags and really test out a lot of different tags and see which tags resonate better in the search results than others. That is another great perk to using this strategy. Going back to that concept of the different images, because I don't think I mentioned this before, I do want to point out that some of these say mom, some of these say nana, some of these say grandma. So there's really a variety of different names. And of course, whatever your family in particular might call the grandmother figure of your family, you're probably going to be visually attracted to whichever one of these frames has that name in it. So she's really specifically targeting your personal family name. So I did want to make sure to point that out. Now, the next perk, the next big benefit of utilizing a strategy like this is that she is literally flooding the marketplace. So while that is super annoying for the rest of us Etsy sellers, it's actually really clever for store growth. So when someone is searching for a Mother's Day gift or a birthday present for grandma, her stuff is going to pop up over and over again in the search results. And because they all have a different amount of sales and slightly different titles and tags and main images, they're going to show up at different places throughout the search results feed because they're going to be ranked a little bit different by the algorithm. So that is also really clever because as people are searching and they're scrolling down, they're going to see one of these listings every row or every couple of rows throughout their search. So she's giving herself a lot of visibility with this strategy. This is actually one of my favorite strategies as an Etsy seller to employ, and I really don't think I've talked about it in depth in a video. I have touched on it in different videos when I see sellers doing this, but this has been such a flawless execution of this strategy that I really wanted to point it out specifically. So, if you have the type of product that can sell more than one, so it's not a one of a kind product or something handmade that's slightly different every time you make it, if you can sell more than one, you can take advantage of this strategy. You can duplicate your listing, use different main images, change your keywords, move your title around a little bit, and really have a massive impact on your store growth. So, what do you think? This might be a little controversial for some. Do you think that this is misleading or do you think that this is smart? Comment your opinion below. So, obviously, with a strategy like this, she has the potential, she's built the potential for a $300,000 a year income on just this particular design and the strategy of listing this repeatedly. However, before you get super excited and jump in here and say, you know what, that's obviously selling like hotcakes, I'm going to make my own version of this product and I'm going to sell it too. I do want to point out something really quickly that you should be aware of. So, if I go up to the top of this bestseller here, you can see that there are actually a lot of people who have already duplicated this idea. And if you see, this one is so the store we're reviewing is Solid Rock Design Co. This one is by Framed Wall Design. This one is by Artsy Closet. This one is by Pop of Ink. This one is by Allison Griffin Design. This one is by Sweet and Sandy. These are all the same. If you want to duplicate her kind of results, or if you see a best-selling product and you think that you want to enter that niche with your own version, you do not want to just directly duplicate what they are doing. These are so similar in design. That being said, this listing is a bit different. So as you can see, the style of flowers is different, but surprisingly, this is actually one that you can edit yourself. It is not a personalized product that is made by the artist, by the Etsy seller. It's something that you download and you personalize it yourself. Just like this, and this particular seller uses cordial. So she has taken something and made it unique. And as you can see, the art style on the flowers is slightly different as well. She's not using those same flowers that the other sellers have used. So it was actually pretty clever that she has made such a change. And when we click on hers, we can see slightly different variations that other sellers have created as well. So for example, this one is a lot different, same concept, also a bestseller because the art is slightly different. So I just wanted to point that out that if you are going to brainstorm and do competitor research and find a best-selling item, a best-selling product, you do not want to duplicate it too exactly. You do not want to, even in terms of like how all of these sellers have it here, where it's pretty spot on duplicated. You want it to be your own. You want to add something unique to the space. You don't want to copy what other people are doing because you're already going to be competing against them to begin with. And it's going to be almost impossible for you to outrank an existing bestseller with that same type of product. So you have to add something unique to that product. You have to make it special in some way. You have to get the buyer's attention to make yours stand out against theirs so that yours can start ranking up each time it sells. It will get higher and higher in the search rankings. So, for example, if you like this style, every time someone buys this, it's going to move up in the search rankings and it could eventually surpass this Etsy's pick version, depending on how popular people like one art style over another. But that's the beauty of selling on Etsy is that we all have our own unique ideas. So definitely make sure to keep that in mind when you are creating your products and think about how you can make something unique or how you can add a benefit or a perk or a feature that didn't already exist in the current bestseller.
This digital products newbie is crushing it in Etsy sales, and it's a skill that anyone can learn. Let's see how. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to another Insights by Just video. I really wanted to showcase this particular store for you guys because I've seen so many of you who have such amazing artistic skills, and even more of you who are open to learning new skills like these. And this store makes a great example of building a passive income source out of their unique artistic talents. And anyone can learn how to do this. In fact, I have a great YouTube tutorial that I think really explains it so well, breaks down the whole process, and I'm going to share that with you guys. Before we dive into all of that, however, let's take a look at their Etsy store stats. So this store is actually based in Austria, which I also love. I love being able to showcase stores from all around the world, especially as an American who is no longer in America. I just think we are living in such a cool day and age where you can live anywhere and you can create a business and support yourself using Etsy from literally anywhere. So that's super cool. This I actually found with Allura. So Allura actually reached out to me about a week ago and told me all about their platform. It's really cool. I have been so impressed so far. I kind of compare them as if eRank and Everbee had a baby. That's what this reminds me of. It has a lot of great features, a lot of search features. You can see keywords, you can see winning products. They have tips for you to increase your listings, lots of really cool stuff. I found this store that we're going over actually in their research dashboard. And it's really cool because you can look up products based on pretty much any filter you want. You can look them up by store name, by type of product, by listing, etc. So when I was looking for fun new stores to show you guys for these videos, this was the tool that I actually used. And one thing that I found was that their income estimates and sales estimates were a little bit more up to date than what I had been finding on Everbee. However, the really cool thing that caught my attention when Allura reached out to me is that it's more affordable than Everbee. So I love Everbee. It is a great service, a great platform with lots of features, but to unlock all of the features, it is $30 a month. And for brand new sellers on Etsy, that can be a little cost prohibitive. So I loved that Allura has a free plan. And then to unlock all of their features, it is only $10 a month, which is just way more affordable. Anyhow, I don't want to ramble on too long, but I did want to share this with you guys because it is really cool, and I do have an affiliate link down below if you want to check it out. Let's get back to the point here and talk about their Etsy sales stats of this particular store. So this store actually has 27,000, just over 27,000 sales. And if we scroll through their listings here, they have a pretty great price point. They do have some big bundles that are coming in higher at, this one's 13, this one's almost 7, but their average product price here is about $3.15. And you can see a lot of these right now are $3.85. And that's just because they changed the sale that they had. When I originally outlined this video, the sale was a little bit better, probably for Black Friday maybe, and it was actually $3.19 instead of $3.85. So, because y'all know I am super conservative when I give you these estimates, and I really do try to be as realistic as possible, we're keeping that number at $3.19 for their average listing price. If you want to assume they're making more, go right ahead, but we're going to do worst case scenario. If we look at how long they've been selling here, this is going to be fun. You guys are going to be so surprised. I'm going to go to their very last page, and you're going to see that the first feedback actually pops up here on February 24th of 2023. They just actually passed their ninth month, right, in business. And hopefully that math is correct. I definitely need more coffee today, but I'm pretty sure we just dipped into December, so we're looking at about 9 months here. given the fact that they have already, in that 9 months period of time, accumulated 27,000 sales, they have, at a $3.19 price point, so far made approximately $86,300 so far in that 9 months period of time. If their sales stay in this trajectory, even if, they don't grow any further and it just stays steady, that would put their 1-year approximate annual revenue at $115,000. But this store is growing like crazy, so it's pretty likely that they're going to surpass that number. In fact, I can't wait to see when March rolls around what this ends up being, because these are impressive numbers. Don't abandon this video to go learn digital painting just yet, because I want to show you what they're doing to capture so many sales. Why are they getting so much attention? Why are they growing so quickly? There are a few core things that you need to be successful on Etsy. One, you need great products that people want to buy, of course. And for some of us, that takes a few tries. I know when I first started my OG Etsy store back in like 2009, I had to trial and error a little bit and find something people wanted to actually give me their money for. But once you find your great idea, you have so much potential to grow. So you need great products. That's number one. Number two is you need great images to show off those amazing products. Number three is that you need a well-planned SEO strategy, and I have a cheat sheet for free that you can go grab from my resources section down below, and I have a in-depth SEO planner if you want to spend money to get the full SEO breakdown to build a strategy for your specific niche. The link for that is down below as well. The fourth thing that you need to be successful on Etsy, however, is patience and perseverance. And that fourth thing is usually what gets you. It is hard to wait for results, especially if it can take 4 to 6 weeks to get into the Etsy algorithm. A lot of us get frustrated before that when we're putting in that work and it's taking weeks or maybe even months to see some sales start rolling in. So, I've got some great tips for new sellers who want to get those first few sales. I will put the card for that video at the top here. But let's see how this particular seller is taking those 4 things and really implementing them to build a great store for herself. We're going to look at her bestsellers first. Like many sellers this time of year, we are seeing a big peak in seasonal listings. So she has lots of seasonal bestsellers. Some of these are insanely popular, as you can see, and they are really killing it in terms of bringing in some money. But y'all know I like to keep these videos evergreen, so we are actually going to look at this one. This is a relatively new listing, and it is in 20 people's carts already. So once this crazy Christmas rush is over, we're going to probably see this get a bestseller tag, maybe even before then. If y'all are watching this video and you notice that she has a bestseller tag, comment below so we can all celebrate this seller and how amazing they are growing. So the first thing I want to point out about this particular listing that this seller is doing really well is her video. And I love videos because it's so much potential to really showcase people's products. This is a great video. It's super simple. This is an image that has motion added to it. This is another image that is just going to the side, and then she caps it all off with some beautiful feedback from customers. So a very simple, very short video that shows the quality of her artwork and how easy it is to download. These customers are happy. So you don't have to put a lot of effort into building a great video. And in fact, I have a video coming up in a couple of weeks that is going to show you a super easy way to make killer Etsy listing videos. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go subscribe right now, because believe it or not, only about 40-something% of you are subscribed to my channel. That means 65% of you are missing out on new videos and new updates and new tips, posts, and all the great stuff that I'm putting out. You may not even be seeing it. So click that subscribe button so you don't miss anything great. While you're down there, you can give this video a like as well. That really helps me grow. Anywho, her other images are well done, and you can see that she's trying really hard to capture the quality of her art. while also imparting some information. She has a sale advertised here. Another really nice mock-up, and keep in mind that these images here, these kind of mock-ups, they match the vibe and aesthetic of her artwork, so she is keeping it really uniform, and the image really does match the type of decor that people are probably going for when they think about buying this art and putting it up in their home. So that was really well thought out. And then another mock-up, very simple, and a sizing guide. This is very important if you're doing digital art. You want to give people some way to reference in their head how big sizes are. So this is a very nice way to represent lots of different size files here. And she has a sofa for reference down here. So very, very clever. She does have some great infographics, and everything is really well explained, I feel like. And she is really trying hard to showcase the quality of the artwork. And speaking of this gorgeous art, let's talk about that YouTube tutorial that I mentioned before. So there's actually two tutorials, and I will link them both below for you. But the first one here I love because it breaks it down into really basic principles. And I'm not a great artist by any means, but I have been learning, or attempting to learn anyways, how to do oil painting. So it's a lot more challenging than I thought when you have to break down the simple shapes and things like that. And oil paints are a whole mess, so that's like a whole nother thing. But digital painting, when I was watching this tutorial, it really clarified for me a lot of those basic principles involved in just painting in general. Any kind of painting, whatever you're using for your medium, just in terms of looking at the shapes and looking at how to format your canvas, I guess, if it's a digital canvas, and really lay out all the shapes on the canvas that you're using, and just start from ground zero and learn all the things you need to learn. It was super basic, and I really loved how they broke it down so I could understand it, and it was kind of mind-blowing actually. And then the other one I like because they have a whole series. So this second YouTuber, they have a bunch of different painting tutorials for digital painting. So if you're wanting to learn something specific, you can definitely jump through the content and find what you want to learn about. And it's just really detailed. So the first one I love because it breaks it down for you for newbies. It's perfect. And the second one I love because it really lets you learn lots of different things, especially if you want to know something specific. Okay, so let's talk this seller's SEO. So coming back to this evergreen listing here, if we look at this seller's title here, you can see that she's really covering as many words as she can, and the emphasis in terms of repetition is really focusing on art print, art digital download. Um, it does say oil painting, even though it's digital, that's the painting style, is the oil painting. And there's a lot of variety in terms of using words like wildflower, country, farmhouse. We do see landscape twice here. And then A34 is a size, and that is a size that's used like in Europe and UK. So she really is trying to cover a wide variety of search terms with the farmhouse, the wildflower, etc., because this is not a huge niche. And I've talked about in a couple videos lately, which is not intentional by any means. I think it's just working out that way when I pick these stores. But when you do have a small niche, you have to have a different strategy in terms of how you do your SEO than if you have a really big niche, because the competition levels of search terms is different, and the potential visibility of the search terms is different. And I do really go into depth in my SEO strategy guide on that. But you want to keep in mind your particular niche size when you are creating your listings and picking your keywords. So keep that in mind as well. So this seller really is trying to cover as many search terms as she can to get more potential views on her items. And if we go down to her appeal statement here, we can see she's right off the bat got the important stuff in a very, very short, to the point little statement here that it is printable art, 300 dpi resolution for a high quality print. And this is important because she does not want anybody to get confused and think that they are ordering an actual painting and not a digital printable art. So that's very clever. And then it doesn't waste too much space, so she can still get this great appeal statement into her SEO. And then she has her other words in here like antique, rustic, landscape painting, etc. So nature, farmhouse, all of these important keywords are added into these sentences in a very appealing and lovely way that just pulls your attention to these words like beautiful, beauty, springtime, etc. And of course, these are the same kinds of words that she's using in her title. And I do stress in a lot of my videos that you want to have that repetition. And when I'm saying repetition, just to be clear, I did put this in my most recent newsletter, but just in case you missed that or you're not on my newsletter yet, let me clarify it here too. When I'm talking about repetition, I want to make clear that you should be choosing, in my opinion, and we all have different opinions, so please keep in mind that this is my particular way of doing things. I try to advise that you choose 2 or 3 of your most important keywords. So the words that you put in your title, those are all keywords, and a lot of those are going to also be the tags that you choose for your Etsy listing. So in your title, in the beginning part of your listing description and in your tags, you want to repeat those 2 or 3 main keywords. And if you want to add more repetition and have them in your title more than once, you can definitely do that. And a lot of data does support the idea of having those important keywords in your title more than once. And when I built my SEO strategy, we did review 1,000 different Etsy bestseller listings. So we were able to look at a lot of patterns and correlations that we found amongst these listings that made them similar to one another, and having certain keywords appear in your title on average twice did seem to be very common among bestseller listings. However, I also would suggest not repeating any specific word more than 3 times. So if you see here, she has art in here twice. She has landscape in here twice. She has print and printable. These are very, very similar, but they're not the exact same. So you can go ahead and add similar words in here, but you don't want to be too repetitive. And of course, again, this is just my opinion. But keep those main 2 words or 3 words, depending on how long they are, in your title, in your description, and down in your tags. So if we jump down to her tags here, you're going to see some of these same words. So we can see landscape, we see vintage, we see wildflower print, we see field, we see vintage art, downloadable print, and then we see farmhouse print, cottage art, nature painting, and some other things as well. Of course, printable wall art is the very first one. And keep in mind that these are not necessarily the tags that they're putting in. Some of these are going to be their tags that the seller chooses, and some of these are going to be related search terms that Etsy has found to be relevant to this listing. So this section here can really help us when we're choosing our own keywords to see what is working. So always look at your competitor listings and see what's popping up for their related searches section. You want to use what is working. And so if all of your top competitors are using a particular strategy or a certain pattern of how they're structuring their titles and their tags and their description and all of that good stuff, you want to keep in mind that doing something similar is probably also going to work for you. Stick to what works. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that is a really important part of your Etsy research as well. No matter what all the YouTubers are telling you, including myself, if what I'm telling you isn't matching what you're seeing the top sellers on Etsy doing, go with what works. Go with what your competitors are doing, because obviously they're getting sales, and that is what your goal is to get sales. So rely on your own research as well. That is the most important part of building your SEO strategy. I love a good newbie to rockstar Etsy store, but the strategies that this store is using to explode their Etsy sales are so simple, anyone can do it. Let's take a look.
Hello, hello, hello. It is so good to see you back for another video. This is so cool. I'm obsessed with this store. Usually, when we see a newbie pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, it's usually a print on demand t shirt store or a spreadsheet store because those niches seem to be able to shoot off like fireworks on Etsy and really grow very, very quickly. But this store is what I like to call an evergreen store. It is in a pretty reliable niche. It is a digital planner store, and they only have 24 listings. It is super, super impressive. Digital planners have been here for a few years. They are not a new product and they bring in consistent sales. So if you can create a planner that looks great and makes your life more organized, boom, it's an Etsy gold mine. So, before we really dig into what they've done to dominate this niche, let's take a peek at their Etsy store stats so you can be as impressed as I was. This store has 60,662 sales. And I do want to point out very briefly here that their branding is on point. They have a very clean, very simple aesthetic. They are going with a specific color scheme with all of their products here. They have found something that is visually appealing, it works, it sells, and they are using that as a very streamlined success strategy, which has brought them over 60,000 sales so far. Their average product price is about $6. Now, they do have some things that are $3.99, $4.99, $4.99, $3.99, but their sales vary widely, and they do have a few things that are $7 that are all best-selling products here. So based on what is selling, what's selling the most, and their average pricing, depending on what sales they're running at any given time, I've given them a conservative average price of $6. Let's take a peek at their feedback so you can see exactly how new this store is and be as impressed as I am. Going to the very last page of feedback here, we can see that their very first feedback comes on August 2nd of 2022. They are not even a year old. So they have accumulated 60,000 sales in less than 1 year's time. Okay, that is mind blowing in itself. But when you take those sales, 60,000 sales, at a price point of about $6 each, that puts their approximate annual sales at $391,000. 390. That is almost $400,000 in 1 year's time span, which I can't even begin to tell you how impressive that is. Now, before you turn off this video and go start creating your own digital planners, let's take a look at some of the bestseller listings and the strategies that they have put into place to grow so much so quickly. And I'm not going to show you their that girl planner, even though that is a huge seller, because I've talked about very similar planners to that one in multiple of my other videos. And I will put a card up at the top here to one of my other planner videos. This That Girl Planner or It Girl Planner or Glow Up Girl Planner is a very common theme for planners. We're not going to talk about that one. What really caught my eye, actually, was this student planner here. It is a bestseller. It's in over 20 people's carts. It is a massive hit, super successful. It's $6. As you can see, sales price of 60% off, and it keeps with their simple planned aesthetic that they use for all of their planners. It is really, really aesthetically pleasing. This rose gold look is really dominating Etsy. It's been popular for a while. It's not going anywhere. It's elegant, it's classy. Very, very nice theme. And it works. You see it in spreadsheets as well a lot. This is a great color scheme. But I don't want to forget to tell you about my awesome fonts freebie. So it's perfect for designing aesthetically pleasing planners or other digital designs or print on demand, pretty much anything that includes fonts. And I've recently updated this freebie so it now also includes over 125 fonts to download. It is a big downloadable file that are all free to use for commercial use. So any of these fonts in here, you can use them for any design program you like. Just download the freebie, install the fonts on your computer, and boom, there you go. No matter what design program you use, you are set. The link is below along with all of my other freebies, so go dig around and grab whatever else strikes your fancy there. Now, their images are very simple. This is a great video, by the way, that's been playing while I talk, but but their images are also well done. It's very simple. They have a really aesthetically pleasing digital mock-up here so you can see what it looks like on a tablet. They have it on a tablet and as standalone pages. They really highlight all the different features. Very, very well done. So, when you are building a best-selling product on Etsy, regardless of your niche, there are certain elements that you need to pay attention to. And obviously, having great images is very, very, very important because that is what is going to pull people in on the Etsy search pages. So, for example, anytime you go to Etsy and you type in planner, a whole bunch of stuff is going to pop up, and those images are ultimately what people are looking at and clicking on. So you need a great, great image to catch attention and pull people in. As I said before, the That Girl Planner is a very, very common theme that you're going to see a lot. However, your image isn't going to matter if you're not popping up towards the top of these search results, right? And to get to the top of the search results, you need to have good SEO. So let's take a quick look at their SEO for this store. If we look at their title, I want you to notice how they use vertical bars to separate all the important keyword phrases here. Now, that is super important. And I actually talked about this in a print on demand video that I just very recently did. The Etsy algorithm is going to use these bars or commas or slashes to separate phrases. So when the algorithm interprets these phrases, it will take these bars and use that to recognize that this here is a phrase. This here is a separate phrase. I love how my computer just wants to highlight everything. College planner is one phrase. Digital planner is one phrase. These are all separate phrases. And what that does is it helps the Etsy algorithm differentiate those as specific long-term keywords. So commas, bars, and slashes can really help add emphasis to those key phrases and give your SEO just a little bit of a much needed boost. It also makes it easy for our human eyes to separate what this is when we're reading it, which is an added bonus because we do want to get clicks on those search pages, so readability matters. Now, the next important SEO strategy that I want to point out about this store is that they have an amazing appeal statement. And it's been a couple videos since I've talked about appeal statements, but they are one of my absolute favorite things when I talk about Etsy listings because SEO is important and we want to pull people in from those search pages. But it's the humans that get to actually purchase these products. So if your description isn't appealing, then you're not going to get you might get a lot of views on your product, but you might not get as many actual clicks to add this product to the cart. So when I'm looking at this and I'm reading this, me as a human, as a person buying this product has to physically add this to the cart. The algorithm cannot do that for you. So we need a good appeal statement. We need something that draws buyers in and helps them realize how cool and amazing our product is and gets them excited to buy our product. And can we all just do a little happy dance together over how amazing this store has done their appeal statement? Okay, so let's read this together. It says, are you a student looking for an easy way to stay on top of all your classes, assignments, and exams? Academic success begins with staying organized. Whether you are looking to keep track of your assignments, exams, and results, or just need to stay on top of your busy schedule, our digital student planner is here to help. This is amazing, guys. They immediately address a problem and then point out how their product, their planner, solves that problem. Are you a student looking for an easy way to be organized? Yes, I am. Well, our digital student planner is here to help. Genius. They really word that in a way that makes it look like they are the solution to your problem. And if you've ever been a college student or maybe even a high school student with a heavy class load, you know that there's a lot of stuff to keep track of. And like they say here, academic success begins with staying organized. Now, let's dig into their tags and their actual choices of keywords here. So, scrolling down here to their tags, they are all at the bottom of this one. We can see a lot of repetition of the words that we saw up in their title. So, student planner, academic planner, college planner, all of these things that they say in their title are repeated in their tag section. That is fantastic because it adds strength, it adds emphasis to those phrases because Etsy's algorithm sees them repeatedly here. They also have used a great balance of those types of specific tags like college planner and academic planner with some more of the broader tags like digital planner or good notes planner or even weekly planner, daily planner. Those are not specific to the type of planner that this is, whereas assignment tracker, college planner, academic planner, those are specific to the product type. And it is important when you're doing your SEO research to remember that balance is absolutely key to getting good SEO results, to really getting visibility on those search pages. And I do go over that balance and how to choose and evaluate your keywords more specifically in my workbook and video planning set. But as a general rule, just a quick basic uh, tip for you, you do want to have a few of those super specific keywords in there because they have a higher sales conversion rate than those bigger, broader keywords. So you want to have a balance between broad and specific words so that you can really get a good strategy overall. So essentially, this store has been able to crush their competitors and build an almost $400,000 income in less than a year. In less than a year with these core strategies. One, a smart idea, aka a planner that solves a problem and has a specific purpose. Two, clever use of separating their key phrases in their SEO, in their title for readability and SEO emphasis. Three, a really well done appeal statement. And four, a good balance of keywords that go with high conversion rates and good visibility. So that balance is key. So whenever you're trying to enter a new niche or create a new product, those four things can really help you get a good jumpstart on sales and just dominate your niche. By the way, what do you think of the use of bars in their titles? Do you agree with this strategy? Because I have seen, like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it in this video or in the print on demand video, but it is somewhat controversial. And I have actually seen some people, some Etsy experts, I guess, Etsy strategists, ad- advocating against using commas, bars, and slashes. Let me tell you, please, first of all, comment below and let me know what you think. But let me tell you from my personal experience of selling on Etsy for over 15 years in multiple niches and what I see in all of these stores. I have over 100 videos so far, guys. In some of these videos, I talk about multiple stores. Commas, slashes, and bars are a commonly used element in, I would say, well over 90% of these successful stores. So stick to what works. Don't reinvent the wheel. I know sometimes people have different strategies and different things can work, but it is always, 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 always going to benefit you to see what your competitors are doing, see what all of these big sellers on Etsy are doing, and keep that in mind. That takes precedence over what anybody else can tell you. If you're watching an Etsy video like mine or like any other Etsy video, there's a lot of them out there, and someone says one thing, someone gives you one strategy, but for your particular niche, you are seeing something different over and over in all of your competitors. Do what the competitors are doing. Ignore the advice of the Etsy expert or the Etsy strategist or whatever we are, Etsy content makers. It does not matter. It doesn't matter how much experience or success we have if everybody else is doing something different. Stick to what works. Do not reinvent the wheel.
Imagine having digital products that were easy to make and grow to 20K month sales. I'm going to show you how this Etsy store did exactly that. Hi, I'm Jeffs. I've built multiple 6- and 7-figure Etsy stores in various niches, getting sales like these, and learning the ins and outs of Etsy, Amazon, and more. A wild and crazy event led me to start a totally new life traveling abroad, giving me the unique opportunity to step back, work a lot less, and start sharing all of my Etsy insights with you. So hit that subscribe button, grab a pen and paper, and let's jump in.
Hello, hello. Thank you for coming back to my channel and watching this video. This store, you guys, they are not quite a newbie. Not quite a newbie, but they are not even 2 years old yet. They have a couple of smart strategies and really clever product choices. With that, they've managed to secure well past the 6-figure sales mark already in a very saturated niche. That wasn't really what impressed me, though. What really caught my attention was how they really built a massively powerful store on a very, very simple, streamlinable idea. Before we dig into their bestsellers and how they're totally dominating this niche, let's take a peek at their Etsy store stats. Let's just jump right to it. This store has over 144,000 sales. Pretty impressive number. They have an average product price of $3. Now, that is pretty conservative. I try to be conservative. I say it over and over in all my videos. I am sorry. I apologize for the repetition, but I do try to be conservative so that you guys can have some sort of realistic idea of what these stores are doing. But $3 is the price that I gave them. They do have a lot of things way higher than 3, but I wanted to keep it pretty basic. This store's first feedback, if we scroll down here and go to most recent, we're going to go to their very last page, so their very oldest feedback, and we can see that the first feedback comes on October 4th of 2021. So very, very cool, very impressive. They have already in that 2 years time span built up over 1,000 listings. And when we calculate their 144,000 sales at a $3 price point, that puts their approximate annual sales somewhere in the range of $244,000 a year. If we assume that maybe their sales price is higher, that number only goes up from there. So conservatively, $20,000 a year. That is an amazing sales point to be sitting at, over $20,000 a month in under 2 years' time. So if you're now as blown away and speechless as I am, let's take a quick browse through some of their Etsy bestsellers. But first, I really wanted to take a quick second and say thank you so much to everyone who has bought me a coffee or a super sticker or donated for one of my freebies. You guys are so amazing. You really do help keep this channel alive and growing and help motivate me to keep making fun and hopefully helpful videos for you guys. So thank you especially to Cara Lawrence, Neil for your super sticker, Mavis Offen, Robin, and Sheikh Chansari. Thank you for your support. Elizabeth and Vivian. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone who has subscribed and who likes and comments on my videos. They really, really do help me grow and get noticed. And don't forget the links to all of my freebies and all of my helpful resources is down in the video description below. So make sure you grab that and take advantage of all the good stuff that is down in there. Okay. So they have quite a few bestsellers, but I just wanted to point out a couple of products that caught my attention in general. So the first one is not quite a bestseller, but it is super popular. It's in over 20 people's carts. And as you can see, it is a alphabet. Now these are not fonts. This is actually a collection of PNG files. So what they do is they make these in graphic images and you can put together the letters however you want. It comes with the monogram style letters that you see here. And it comes, if I can blow this up a little bit here, it comes with these kind of sketch bubble style letters and numbers and little symbols as well, which is very cute. And it gives you a few different examples of what the letters look like on mock-ups. Another flat lay here, another mock-up, and it just shows you the different possibilities. There's also this kind of shadow or silhouette version where the letter is actually cut out of the pattern, but it's all the same flower pattern with different alphabet styles hatched into it. As you can see back on their main image, it comes with these 4 different styles of letters. So very, very cool, very, very popular. Now let's take a peek at the next one. The next one is a bestseller. It's also in over 20 people's carts. It is the same style of letters, this kind of sketch style, but with a teacher pattern put into the letters. Now, this image is just advertising a entire store bundle, which is actually a bestseller as well. I believe it's selling for $142. It's actually on sale at 75% off. So when you click the listing, it says 117, not the 142 it says here. But we're still sticking with that $3 price point. We're going to ignore this bundle. I don't like these bundles. They take a lot of work to create and sell. So $3 price point is what we're sticking with. As you can see here, there's different styles, different patterns that they have applied into the lettering. Now let's go to the next one here. This is also a bestseller. It's a baseball pattern and it is the same style of lettering. This one does not include the monogram style, but same kind of concept with this little stitch outlining and the letters inside. Now, there's a reason I'm dragging you through all of these bestsellers, and they all range in pricing, right? This one's $3.59. This one's $6. The boho one is also $6. This seller is really capitalizing on templated products, which really makes it easy to create new listings. So what they're essentially doing, if we go back to their main store here, is we can see a lot of these letters with different designs, different patterns. So it makes it really easy to create new products, new patterns, for example, with different themes, different styles. They have firemen, they have tie-dye, they have cheetah teacher print. They have all different kinds. Now they do have some other designs, like they have tumbler patterns in here, and they have some sublimation designs and teardrop earring designs. Those are also templated, as you can see, very, very similar here. But this is about to get a little bit cooler. So when I say that this is templated, this is what I mean. This is the exact same style of letters, but it is being sold as a Canva template. So you can actually fill in your own pattern here, and they show you like, here's the template, take your pattern, here's the finished product. Very cool. They show you in a video how easy it is to do this. You just drag the pattern over to the Canva frame, and you can have any pattern letters you want. This is actually a bestseller. It is selling for $12. So you can buy the finished letters of the pattern you want for $6 or maybe even $3, or you can make your own for 12 whole dollars. This is genius. And what this product is doing is showing you how quickly and easily they actually created all of their other listings. So they took the time and energy to create the first set of lettering with all of these different monogram letters and all of these different alphabet letters. And then they just duplicated it repeatedly with different patterns. That is super, super cool because it makes it so much faster and easier to add new inventory. It is so simple that it is actually quite genius. And they do that with other things as well. This is not the only thing that they are using as a Canva frame. You can actually buy a teardrop Canva frame. You can buy a circle Canva frame. This is just a circle with a little circle cut out of it. You can buy all these different Canva frames to make whatever you want with their product. It is super smart and super clever. Here's where you might be thinking, yeah, but they have to make the Canva frames, and that's obviously very complicated. Except it's not. It's not complicated at all. In fact, when I Googled how to do this and how to make custom frames for Canva templates, I found a lot of YouTube videos that were 10 minutes or less. Some were 2 to 3 minutes long, really explaining how to make these frames. Especially if you have Microsoft PowerPoint, you can make these frames in just a couple of clicks. It is super, 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 super easy. So I really wanted to point that out because it's mind-blowing, and it is really impressive and really inspiring to me how they were able to come up with a cool idea, turn it into a Canva frame, and then use that frame as a template to grow a store that is bringing in 240 some odd thousand dollars a year. And if you check out those tutorials on YouTube, you can learn how to do this in less than 5 minutes. So this is really cool, and I had to turn it into a video. I had to make a case study on this. But for more easy digital product ideas, you should definitely check out this fun video I made with 5 Etsy newbies that all made bestseller status almost immediately and crushed their Etsy niches with massive sales. You can check that video out here.